they look at the concern of well body work on them. We according to them then go begin strike today. We now Wednesday October 23 if government not meets then demand waiting at then demand there and waiting don't be then decision so far as today now the deadline for the ultimatum make inside the program. We want to welcome the Minister for Health. We now Dr. Austin Dembe. Good morning and welcome to the program. Good morning, Salon.
Good morning, Musa. Good morning to you, audience.
And also want to welcome the President for the Salon Medical and Dental Association. We now Dr. Frederick Coker. Good morning and welcome to the program. Good morning, Salon.
Good morning, Musa, and good morning to the audience.
Yes, I go start with you una get the concern and I read from my intro na that they start a strike action today with an ultimatum if government no reach or meet una demand them as listeners and viewers them what's na then concerns here so before we can look at how una reach the ultimatum.
Thank you very much, Musa. We concern very clear. Again for do with fuel allocation. Yeah, I will just give you a brief background as to how all of this come about. Now, in 2022, actually 2 years ago, doctors for realize say, as a matter of fact, they entitled forget 45 liters of fuel every week. I mean, that's something we not ask for. That's something we by law, by virtue of we being doctors in the country, we are entitled to that. I mean, prior to that, due to the ignorance, we not be together fuel. For years, like me don't be doctor for so many years, I not be together fuel. So when we realize that this is something now we do, we make a very strong case 2 years ago that we for the this fuel, and we have not been having it. So we are not happy, and people begin even calculating fuel almost they owe them, from they don't graduate and all of that. But to cut a long story short, being reasonable, we agree say, okay, all waiting we for don't get will not be done again in the past. We will forgo them. But from 2022, moving forward, before they get with fuel. So we even go further again and say, okay, because at the time we are in the second half of the year, around July, August. We go further after negotiations and say, okay, the first half of the year, we will forget what's back. But from the second half of the year, moving forward now, we begin get with fuel every week. And there was a strike action around that issue day. And the strike was resolved on the promise from the Ministry of Health. I mean, the Honorable Minister, Dr. Austin Dembe himself was very crucial, with that decision day. There was a commitment that moving forward, the Ministry will do all what he can for ensuring, say, every 3 months, doctors and get the fuel when forget we amount to 45 liters per week. So in fact, as a show of commitment at the time, the fuel will be forget for the last 2 quarters. Government being geared to we immediately. But then when we enter the following year, which was last year, 2023, it became very challenging for get the fuel. Contrary to the promise, in fact, there was an MOU signed between government and the association where we have a show of commitment, say government will ensure to get the fuel every 3 months. But when we enter last year, that changed. It became very difficult for the doctors to get the fuel. In fact, for the whole of last year, up to December, out of the 4 quarters, now 2 quarters have been there. And that came after a lot of agitation and complaint by doctors then. Now, me take up office this year as president of the association in January, and I begin follow up this issue. So one of the first challenges where I get that the Ministry of Finance, tell we say forget what the last 2 quarters last year. Let it turn to a new page moving forward from this year. So I said, no, this is something that we do. We cannot forgo. Me not get that voice itself for members and say, I don't accept for forget about the 2 quarters. So it was a whole lot of back and forth negotiation, and eventually Ministry of Finance agree, then give the 2 quarters for last year. Then up to July, or getting to August of this year, we had not received any fuel for this year. Yeah, and I want at this point let people get some context about the whole thing. Now, we membership of doctors in this country, yeah, I mean, about 70% of them, now young doctors, then, we just done medical school or don't practice for 1 or 2 years. We then salary is nothing to write more about if you compare doctors in this country and other countries then. And these are people that will depend entirely on their salary. They're not getting no other side for their money. Right. Now, without this fuel, yeah, the cost of fuel we will spend if they buy from their own pockets is about half of their salary. Yeah, and then get the other half for take care of themselves, their families, and so many other things. We're not practical.
Right.
So when this fuel now they come, it creates a big pressure on the doctors them. Then they find it hard for go work. Then they complain to the association. Then they protest. So we are in August this year. We don't get no fuel for this year. It's no fuel at all. We begin engage the Ministry of Health. You know, draw the attention to the MOU. Get say, I mean, this is where we are. We are in. So the third quarter of the year now, we don't get no fuel. It's what's happening. So a lot of promise, back and forth, information we get, people say not correct and all. Eventually we get into September. We still not get any fuel yet. You know, then members then begin agitate, say, well, we for strike, we for, you know, lay down tools. I said, no, we don't not strike it. Let me give notice to government. Yeah, saying that this now concern. Now, we give government notice, I mean the Ministry of Health, we tell them, say, we don't have any concern about the fuel. You know, then we say the check and not reach in a bank, the check and in a bank for, 3 months. There was a time they said they don't pay for the fuel. We realized that was not true, they were not paid for. So we write to the Ministry of Health, say, we are concerned, this thing they get out of hands. You know, now, please do something for we. You know, give a week, nothing was done. Then we call a meeting, the membership say, well, if Nassau government is exclusive for the fuel, let we strike. Let we give 1 week ultimatum, we strike. So again, I said, no, I mean, as doctors, we got people in mind, we're not going to just grab and give 1 week and strike. Waiting we go do, let we give 21 days. Yeah? Hoping that within that 21 days, the government will engage we and try to find a solution. And the demands that we make were very simple demands, because one of the things I want to clarify that it appears as if the public is being misinformed, as if we are being unreasonable, or we make some kind of demand way, you know, way unreasonable. The demand will make and forget the fuel. We are in the third quarter of the year. We don't even ask for third quarter. We say, okay, now we are in the third quarter. Number one, at least we will give you fuel for just the first and second quarter. At least we will give you that, non-negotiable.
Right.
Because this is what they beg for. Also, we create them. It is by law we entitlement. We are ending the third quarter, but we will give you fuel for the first and second quarter. Yeah. Then secondly, we don't realize, say, the arrangements we've been getting 2022. So for the get the fuel every 3 months, it's not happening. For a fact, we are almost into September. We not get it for even 1 month. So the arrangements we've been getting in 2022. Let me come back and sit down and see how we review the arrangements there, so that moving forward, there will be an improvement in the way we get to fuel.
Okay, we can look at the MOU I mean sign the way how una for get una fuel. But you mentioned say una don't inform the ministry about una fuel concern the way other doctor then done the raise. Una may make official to the ministry. Definitely. Una address the letter to.
So the permanent secretary, copy the ministers and all the relevant members of the leadership of the ministry.
Doc, would they come to you, Doc? Would they come to make you clarify a few things? When I get ultimatum for starts a strike action today?
Yes.
Okay. Is that strike action get for all?
Well, you know, when we get the press conference on Monday, I'll be making very clear that, you know, one of the last things that we want to do now for strike, because know the implication on the public we want for serve, yeah. So we'll be making very clear that if by any stroke of magic or luck or whichever means, I mean, governments call we and we're able to reach as a resolution before the ultimatum we end midnight yesterday, we know we'll strike. So yesterday we get a meeting with the Honorable Minister of Health, you know, the Vice President in office, you know, the Honorable Vice President, because there are big people in our government. We meet and we get a very productive meeting, I must say. And during that meeting, the Ministry of Health through the Honorable Minister himself and the Minister of Finance through the Honorable, Acting Minister of Finance make certain promises them for Larry no strike. One of the promises they make are that, then go give you fuel for the third and fourth quarter for this year soonest.
So in baseline strike not ultimate.
Yeah, but I want to explain because I know that's clear, I know that's simplistic. Clear, I just explain the position. They also make a commitment that the new doctors that we don't begin work recently, where they name all the parts of the fuel list right now, then will commit for get a supplementary list. We will come out later on and give them fuel, and they make a commitment. Then will form a committee. We will look into the fuel issue moving forward so that it will be improved. So we'll get back to the membership. We get a general meeting yesterday evening, an emergency meeting where we put forward waiting. The government say, for in exchange for what we call off the strike. So members them they say, well, it's difficult for us to accept promise by word of mouth. So if all waiting the government's own promise, if they can put them in a paper. In fact, that's how it should be. If there is a dialogue we end, there has to be a document, highlighting why the dialogue end. So doctors then they say, well, let me continue for strike, and we give government time for come up with that document. We then officially make them commitments and they, but being that to get the people in their hearts and all of that, it's right for prevail on the membership then. So we to agree on eventually per the meeting that we will suspend the ultimatum. Yeah, we end yesterday by a further 1 week, by a further 7 working days. We will end next week Friday, and during that 1 week day, we will give governments the opportunity for let all waiting and promise during the meeting yesterday, let them put it on paper. So when once we get our documents, we can now suspend the strike.
Quick clarification for the ordinary saloon man, anybody perhaps they see in a hospital, not doctor. For this category of people who they talk about, would then people who they ask for this fuel within the medical field?
Medical doctors, every medical doctor, they work for government. Every medical doctor, including myself, where they work for government. So they work
including nurses?
No, medical doctors. Me are the president of the Sierra Leone Medical and Dental Association. I understand say other health workers and self-always concerned about fuel. But that's not they within waiting with the fight for.
Okay.
Me are the president for the medical doctors and we concern is specifically directed towards addressing fuel for medical doctors working for government.
Before we go over to Mr. Dembi, you mentioned say government started on again meeting, government promise say it will look into on an issue and the rest, and when you come back, you colleague them, question, say pass them, put them into paper. Is it that on not believe some of the things that we government tell on pass them, put them into paper?
Yes, for two reasons. One, if you get a formal negotiation where they go on, if a negotiation they get for end, if we don't write letters to governments, give the ultimatum, if we get for end the negotiation, it has to be formalized. That's standard practice. And secondly, of course, we cannot rule out the fact that there are trust issues. There is a fundamental issue with trust between doctors and the Ministry of Health for several reasons. We probably are not one for going to, but definitely there is a fundamental issue of trust between doctors and the authorities for legitimate reasons. So for them two reasons, and they doctors and say, fine, for the sake of the people, for the country, we not go on strike today, but we go give the authorities some time for let them formalize always to discuss yesterday.
I continue for the waiting inside the program. In name now Dr. Frederick Kokaina, the president for the Salon Dental and Medical Association, as we therefore look into the issue. Also, them engage 21 days ultimatum to government, say them go strike, because if governments not address some of the issues, them I'll cover to you quick, Mr. Minister, just for make things clear. According to the president, now that they made all right letter and address to the permanent secretary in relation to the concern. As a minister, you received that letter there?
Yes. And so are really in a very, very difficult moment this for me and listen to what's it, great Dr. Cook talk. I think I've been concerned that there a lot of omission in the inside, critical omission in the inside. Just first historically, say this now all people them where they work for government, not to doctor no more. Everybody where they work for government, grade 9 and above, the entitlement now fuel, 45 liters of fuel a week. Now everybody grade 9 and above. That not the case. I think so. They mean craft this law, fuel price been fairly reasonable, fairly low. But over the years, the fuel price don't go up considerably. But the government still they struggle for meets this commitment, not only to doctors, but to everybody else. So last year, as how the doctor will say, they get 2 quarters of payment and they may short in another 2 quarters. But at the end of the day, it's important for clarify, say the government in the end paid for all of the 4 quarters. This year, struggle day for pay for the first and second quarter, but the doctor did not receive all of the first and second quarter payment. Now the government non-commit for give them all of the third and fourth quarter, even before the fourth quarter end. So in terms of the fuel allocation, I really want to fill the gap there. The government not of say they no one for pay. This is not your right, this is not your requirement. But let us be sensitive to the environment in which we fuel prices don't go up considerably, and at the same time, government get for meet your commitment. Government committed for meet the commitment. The budget for the doctor the fuel. The budget for the doctor now 7.5 billion old Leone, 7.5 million new Leones for every 3 months. For the 1 year now over 31 billion old Leones, 31 million new Leones. It's bigger than Boku MDA than budget. This is not for the fuel no more. And this is not for doctor no more. You get about 500 doctors, 480, 500 doctors that we're eligible for that. You get over 800 other healthcare workers with a grade 9 and above. We're eligible for that. So if the government don't struggle, in spite of all this difficult situation, they don't struggle, they don't pay the first quarter, they don't pay the second quarter, they don't make commitment now for pay the third and the fourth quarter, what would they ask for now? Reasonableness. Nobody not say we not go pay. But they ask for some reasonableness for allow the government for pay, even as we meet with other obligations.
If I get Frederick Coker well, he said they not receive any from where this year starts.
You see, Narami at the
And
top
you
say
say
the conversation, the omission, them very, very glaring. Because Dr. Coker not go see them not receive first and second. They don't receive them.
After we write the letter of the ultimatum.
But you don't receive them.
Yeah,
no, that's not the point. You don't receive them.
Clarify the point.
Yeah.
Probably not even get that. Yeah?
After
I mentioned that probably
as you don't the monami but not intro.
I mentioned that.
So you can finally clarify this.
Okay,
I mentioned say they don't get the first and we don't get the first and second quarter. I did mention that.
Okay.
Maybe you don't get that.
Yeah.
I did mention that.
Okay. And for the last year, there were delays, there were difficulties, but did you get 4 quarters of fuel?
Yeah, but if Honorable Minister, respectfully, but the fact that we were being convinced that we forget about that was it.
Right.
Yes, that was an issue. We'll get that eventually, but after a lot of struggle.
But you get some.
We
Both other people they don't get some. Both other ministry
we
they
can
don't
look
get
at
them
small
first and
issues,
second quarter.
Dr. Dembi, but let's get another things clear.
Yeah.
As at this moment, governments they constrain with other things. Them the ministry may explain, give them doctor, let them understand. Say this is not the challenge where governments the face because they say they write letter to una. I think they not get any response from una.
So you see the Ministry of Health now interlocutor. We not the sign check. We not the right check. When then request here come, we they take on to the Ministry of Finance and be an advocate and be a facilitator for encourage the government for saying, look, this is now an important constituency of they need this service. Now, Ministry of Finance then go ultimately say we get the money for them. So what they can do usually with the Ministry of Finance, their number one priority, now salaries. So as how, in this very, very constrained financial environment globally, the government say we number one priority, they will pay all man the salary first.
Okay.
So after they don't pay the salary, they will begin look at all the other priorities. Again, like I say, Boko people and they in our Ministry of Health, we not receive first quarter, they not receive second quarter fuel at all. Okay. The doctor they not receive the first quarter, they not receive the second quarter. The letter we they send, in fact, 2 or 3 days ago, we get a response from the Ministry of Finance. Said that letter would have been sent September. At this point in time, we don't authorize now for go ahead and do the paperwork so that we go able to pay the third and the fourth quarter.
Dr. Austin, then before we go for them break, then you will talk about the issue of the fuel from the Minister of Health side. What's in the process or mechanism for disperse this fuel to the health workman?
Okay. I think it's important for the public and actually the SLMDSF be aware of the process. So the Ministry of Health, not to bank, Ministry of Health not get checkbook, not they pay anything. We not interlocutor, we they advocate for, we constituent them, including the SLMDA, for say, look, we then require fuel, we do the paperwork and submit them to the Ministry of Finance for letting they make the funds available for the fuel. The Ministry of Finance not they send penny to the Ministry of Health. Then they send the money directly to the oil company, then Sonoco, I think the Conoco, whatever the company then, then the Connex, yeah. Now then they receive the money. Then they receive the money. So what they do now for help for verify, for say, then doctor they are so all on this list, now they're eligible for them, for let them, they issue them, they give them the cheat, we will go collect the fuel for them. The critical piece now for let the money available the Ministry of Finance and let them send them to Connex. What can happen at times, as I say, the government is number one priority now for pay salaries. After the non-pay salaries, the funds were available. They say, okay, we'll start to put priority areas. So at times we can write the request for funds for fuel for a broad range of people. Then send and go Ministry of Finance. At times it is so difficult for them meet the financial obligations. In a lot of cases, they can send the check back. When they send the check back from the bank of Sierra Leone, we're going to start the whole process again. But in the end, what think can happen? The funds they go to Sonoco, Connex, then Connex, they deliver the fuel to the people and the doctor them. But people and they on study leave. People and they on holiday. We not there on site. So within the Ministry of Health they do now for help for verify, say of the 500 so doctor that we eligible, 350 na Cambia, na Kenema, na Freetown, na all that then they now. Let we make sure say then get the fuel. So we they help for verify what's in the happen. But Ministry of Health not they touch one single cent.
Okay.
Now directly from the Ministry of Finance to the oil company then with the beneficiary then being the Ministry of the SLMDA and others. Again, I just remind them more. 500 doctors, over 800 other healthcare workers. They're all eligible for this. Because of the pressure with the doctor them will be able to fulfill their needs, will not even able to address the other one their needs there is.
Okay, as you say, una just the facilitate for make sure say doctor then gets them fuel and other things them. But when Dr. Kuka starts, he mentioned say where they may cross check na Ministry of Finance, then tell them say let them just forget about some of the fuel them. And somebody on our Facebook page the question say it seems as if game the plane at the Ministry of Finance. What are the focal policy where they monitor Ministry of Finance for make sure say then doctor they are getting fuel?
So again, I don't know who side the communications come off from. Let them forget the fuel. I don't think say that they accepted anywhere entitlement, and which would they look for now for figure out a way for let them receive them. I don't know the source of the information. We say that therefore forget that, and maybe in a small talk between individuals, but we'll not see any formal communication around that. But the bottom line now, they did receive the fuel. It was delayed, but it was received. If it turn out say problem in the Ministry of Finance, we get active engagement with them at the level of the minister for ensure say no yuki cannot take place inside the ministry, we go impact with downstream. So again, we're not in the Ministry of Finance, but again, so far we understand some of the constraints. We're not to just paper pusher. We are also advocates for the constituency. The minister, the deputy minister too, Dr. Mustafa, at times they go camp now Ministry of Finance for make sure say the long list of not to doctor then feel no more what they deal with. The long list of activities, hospital renovations, the drugs, constructions, trainings, a lot of other things, ambulances, all of that need to go on at the Ministry of Finance for the Ministry of Health. When they go camp, they say, there are times they can say, okay, you get 7 priorities. Yeah? Of those 7 priorities, give it the top 2 where you are low meets right now. Because we're not getting enough money for service, all of you needs right away. We'll come back to the other one then, but give it the top 2. Again, always will they put the doctor, their needs as the top of it. We don't understand to say with the others that if not construction, if we're not able for bill today, we'll go bill them next month. So with the rank order them and negotiate with them. I think say the Ministry of Finance, they do their darn best in very, very difficult conditions. And again, I think what you want for advocate for a colleague doctor that let them understand, say, even though they're not the top priority for the ministry and the country for the incredible work we're going to do, other people that they with themselves they struggle. We have the same source of funding we use for support everybody. We did yesterday at the meeting. I think the minister, the president talks. We'll be meet with them last week. We had a really good discussion around that. Again, the discussion had been long. Then long because not a quick, simplistic thing. Do this and do that. Contact the fuel. It might be delayed, but it will be done.
Okay.
And we try to make now. Do we get the system going forward that will automatically make that happen? Now, that's in the discussion now.
Okay, before we go over to Dr. Kuka, one thing now that even not under your leadership, previous minister them now the same issue we are in with the doctor and the strike. The last time back, we monitor different hospitals across the country and we don't see a doctor. Outside the problem, they will make government and or the ministry, you know, not able to sit down with doctor them for make sure so they get things right instead of them go on strike.
So again, the law set aside the strike action because strike action gets connotation. Say you're not a union, you get certificate, collective bargaining authority, you get collective bargaining certificate. Let me set down the aside. But the number one, the kind of thing that we do in this country right now, the whole world they admire we. The whole world really focus on waiting Sierra Leone they do now the health sector, the kind of dramatic shift that will occur. None of this not will occur without the health workforce. So the health workforce now the engine, now the backbone, now the midrib for the one whole healthcare system. So we don't take it lightly. So and the issue are not to doctor them no more. The nurses them, the other healthcare cater them, then critically important for what you want to do. So the doctor then top priority for it. 2 issues what they deal with for doctor them. First, we need for increase the number of doctor them for meet with population needs. We're having 3.5 million people doing independence. Now, 60 years later, we're in about 8.5 million people. You get 500 doctors for 8.5 million people, where you need about 5,000 doctors for 8.5 million people. So we need for increase the numbers. As we do that, we need for increase the quality of the doctor that we groom. As we do that, we get for look at welfare issues for the doctor there as well. So the welfare not only in cash remunerations, the welfare a whole 360 around which will make a good doctor be the best way it can be. So now we build new hospital. Now we bring new equipment. Now we don't get postgraduate training for the doctor and also. So now the top priority for the country. Again, we need for sit down and talk and get this dialogue around how we go able for move the healthcare system forward with the understanding say we not get limitless resources.
So when then doctors they get in third quarter fuel?
We talked to the Minister of Finance Friday and Monday. Then tell us say, look, we will do that priority, pronto. We go put her ahead of everybody else and make sure say they not only get them third quarter, then get them fourth quarter as well in advance.
Okay.
So again, we look at this week for ensure say all that when they happen. Again, if we do that, I want to let the doctor they understand if we do that, now out of respect for them and waiting and they do. But 95% of the population we eligible not gets the third quarter fuel allocation yet.
We'll come to you again, Dr. Austin Dembi, Minister for Health. We come to the President for the Saloon Medical and Dental Association, winner Dr. Frederick Coker. They inside the studio, they representing membership. We don't get from the Minister, say they work with the Minister of Finance and they explain the process where it take for make una gets the fuel. Una don't give 1 week ultimatum, and Minister of Finance, according to them, still work on them for them una get them. In a situation, una not get this fuel within the 1 week, what will be una next line of action?
Yes, let us make some clarification, very crucial clarification. I mean, number one, yeah, we get fuel for the first and second quarter because you know me seem forget that point. Back.
Okay.
We had fuel for the first and second quarter in September after we issued the ultimatum. Then government give fuel for the first and second quarter. So even though we are getting to the end of the third quarter, we are reasonable enough for us for at least just the first and second, which we had. Now, due respect to the Honorable Minister, I want to accept the fundamental issue why we get to this point. Now, because the Ministry of Health not handle this issue how we think they handle. There was a big gap in communication where the membership perceive as disregard to the association. Not because we are unreasonable. Let me get that very clear. Yeah, let me make it clear. Now, when we issue the ultimatum, we wanted 2 issues addressed. One, made them agree for first and second quarter. At least, if they agree for the third, fine. But at least first and second should be given, which was done. But where to we acting are the most important thing for what we do. Yeah, we are all Salonians. We like the country. By the way, we doctors are one of the worst paid, but we still there at the work. We will accept, say yes, there are challenges in the fuel issues. But for heaven's sake, for the doctor in there for 9 months to not get fuel, that is unreasonable, no matter how difficult it is. So all we asked for was that let we sit down together and see how we will work and improve in the current system. Where elect we not get every month safe, but let there be an improvement. Yeah. Now, when we get the letter, the following day, 9 and 10, we say, government don't pay for the fuel. Then we get another meeting in which we decide get a way forward being mapped out. There was an MOU which was prepared by the Ministry of Health 2 years ago. Now, as an association, we say, okay, let's look at this MOU and see how we will review them for make things better moving forward. We suggest 2 things. One came from them, one came from us. The one we come up from Ministry of Health was that they cannot take the ultimate responsibility for fuel, which is correct, as the Honorable Minister mentioned, because ultimately the Ministry of Finance responsible for disbursing funds. So therefore, if we are going to have a revised MOU, it has to include the Ministry of Finance. That was one point that they came up with, which we agreed. And what we also came up with was that now the MOU was loose in the sense that there was no provision for a consequence in the event doctors are not getting fuel. So we now see on one part, in addition to including Ministry of Finance, let us also include a clause at the MOU where we state that if doctors are not getting fuel against a particular point in time, this action should be done. That was what we agreed. Then the Ministry of Health, you know, the Deputy Minister, the CMO, the senior player, then they give you the task. Say, let us make them changes in the MOU, we'll discuss for that meeting day, one coming from them, one coming from us. More making changes in the and give them back the MOU. Then they go call it to a meeting so that we and them will sit down. Then with one voice, we and Ministry of Health go engage Ministry of Finance now. This is very crucial to understand. That was the agreement at that meeting, which was held on the 30th of September. Yeah? As soon as we come up on our meeting day, within 2 hours, we make the correction at the MOU who agreed upon the meeting and forward on to the ministry. Then during our meeting day, the Deputy Minister the Honorable Deputy Minister make a request that me for pronounce say we don't call off the ultimatum. Then I said no, I cannot do that because also me want to make a decision day. And the entire membership. So I will consult the membership on that, say this one they asked for, and get back to her. And I did that. And the membership said, no, we cannot call it off because now the ultimatum, then they give seriousness to the process. The moment we pull them, we're not convinced them we say can serious again. Let we left them. So as presidents, I was understanding enough. I said, okay, we go left them. But let we write again, say, even if the 21 days done, yeah, if we're not able to agree on something, once we don't begin a process, we will be reasonable enough for, not for strike. On the 3rd of October, we sent a letter to Ministry of Health. And on the 30th of September, we send the revised MOU. When them agree, say, as soon as they get a MOU day, then we call we discuss them, then we and them go meet Ministry of Finance. That was the agreement. That never happened. Let me accept that. That lapsely, then caused all of this. For more get a meeting on the 30th, we are never called again. Despite the fact that we served several reminders. I personally called the Deputy Minister one. I called other members of the ministry that, look, we had a meeting on the 30th, and you guys promised that you get on to us immediately. You have not done that. We don't write in a letter. For heaven's sake, even respect the association. No matter what, if there is a letter to the ministry, it should be replied to. We never got a reply to that letter. We were never called. And we waited patiently to the point where a week ago, yeah, we issue a reminder in the WhatsApp group of the association. Say, we have been waiting for the ministry since we meet on the 30th and send a letter to them. We have not heard from them. And by the way, most of the senior people in the ministry, they are doctors and they are members of the association. Yeah, including the Honorable Deputy Minister 1, Honorable Deputy Minister 2, the Chief Medical Officer, the DCMO clinical. They are all members and parts of the group. Right. And we get evidence for sure. Say when we issue that notice, they read the message, they saw it. And if we had been told that even after we issue that message, the ministry will still call me, we not going to believe that. So even after a week ago, when we issue that message, thinking that the ministry will call me, say, okay, Lord, we can sit down and all of that. We were not called. We were not called. We were only called after we get a meeting on Friday and decide, say, if by Tuesday the issue not solved, we will go on strike on Wednesday. That was when we were called. Okay. Invited. So that is the fundamental problem. That lapse in communication. Where if only we had been called and engaged. When we meet with the Minister of Finance yesterday, she was very realistic. Honestly, she told us point blank. Even though we feel like she was misinformed, because she was told that we are demanding for the 3rd and 4th quarter, which we are not demanding for. Our claims were easy, were clear. Okay. 1st and 2nd quarter, and let us map a way forward for improve the process. Simple demands now make. We never demanded that pow 1, 3rd and 4th quarter. Now the Minister of Finance make them clear to you yesterday, which was understood. He said, he cannot enter into any legal agreements with we for sign say, we forgive you, if not give you for strike. He said, because in as much as we blame the Ministry of Finance, now they're ultimately responsible, but also them. The way they give money depends again on how money they are the system. Okay. If money no they can't give you. Which was understood.
Before we go for break, almost number of doctors or nurses then supposed to forgive you.
I cannot speak for the nurses. Doctors were about 540 or something. And once you are we appreciate again here, as the minister mentioned, the budget might be huge, but because it's huge does not mean we should not ask for it. It's an entitlement.
But Minister don't say,
yes, it's an entitlement.
Una as doctor, the una self
we are. So that is why.
But somebody go say why una self not go see to government in strain, because as Minister explained, they get other things that we don't get for look at.
We are the most reasonable doctors in the sub-region. I can tell you that for facts. In the sub-region, we get the worst condition of service. I can tell you for facts. Me don't work Ghana for years. I don't go to other African countries. I was in Ghana with doctors, and they get housing, they get hosts, they get medical insurance, and get so many things that we not get. We are not asking for all of those at this point in time. We don't ask for anything new. We ask for something way by law, now we entitlement. And even at that, we are not insisting that we for the get and pow. But all we are insisting is that, let's be honest, we have to meet halfway. If we are going to be there for 9 months, we not get no fuel. Right. No. So all we want, let we map a way forward as to how we will see an improvement in the fuel they get. Right. So this was mainly a communication issue. That is all. And let's just clarify again. We are not saying that we forget fuel in the next 1 week. they left the government. But then so when they give the fuel,
Right.
we don't say in 1 week, but within 1 week
We
they can
can-
make a commitment.
we can look
yeah,
at
but we
more
don't say we
issues.
forget fuel in 1 week.
Continue for the
That's
week inside the
clear.
program. In name na Dr. Freddy Cook, President for the Salon Dental and Medical Association.
Earlier you talk about una want the process for being improved. How una want them?
Thank you very much. So, like yesterday, during the meeting, as I said, that was a very productive meeting. Several suggestions came up, especially from the ministry, the acting Honorable Minister of Finance. Now, in as much as the Honorable Minister don't talk, say, ultimately they decide when for pay or whether for pay or not, but the acting Honorable Minister of Finance make a very salient point that again the timing with which the process is being carried through also very crucial. So in as much as Minister of Health ultimately determine, but I guess the crucial role for play, how the fuel they operate. Now Minister of Health they make requests in the form of what we call PET forms and all of that. Yeah, then send them to Ministry of Finance. Then self can look at the documents, verify, and then they approve the payments. Yeah, then now generate checks, then send to Bank of Salon. Bank of Salon pay the money to connect when at the fuel station. Connect now charge the fuel cards of doctors, and that is the process. And in addition, Ministry of Health can verify doctors. Then now one thing what we don't do as an association, we don't take up that big chunk of work there. Say for expedite the process, we will be responsible for verifying we own doctors them and making sure that the one they be eligible and then will they get. But again, if let's say March the end, first quarter the end March, if Ministry of Health with say mid-February for example, before they send the PET form them go to Ministry of Finance, then finance all the documents approve of the payments say end of March, then send them go to Bank of Salon end of March. It's unlikely for the Bank of Salon pay immediately. So one of the recommendations we come up with is that every party involved for doing work in a very swift manner. So for example, if Ministry of Health for submit PET from them, make them do them as early as possible. If finance get for approve of the documents and send checks to Bank of Salon, make them do as early as possible. Let the check reach in a bank early. And the Honorable Minister of Finance make a promise that she would try as best as she can for let them prioritize doctors them. So we agree for form a committee involving the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Finance, we SLMD and the Ministry of Labour. We for follow through them process there and make sure say the process shorten. Where I think was a reasonable suggestion, we will help the process.
Okay, before we come to messages and work about Minister for Health, they don't get the process. How they want the fuel for tap all the challenge here. What did the Ministry of Health talk about, or what do you want to think about these suggestions?
We agree. It's not so issue at all. I just want to go back small bits no more. Then get what they call anti-deficiency. You know they commit government for pay funds where the government not concur, we not give you authority for. So Ministry of Health know they make commitment to anybody around this. We get permission from Ministry of Finance for make that happen. So this notion of an MOU, and what's in a MOU? MOU na memorandum of understanding, a non-binding, enforceable. But what's more important now, you get a letter of appointment which say you entitled to this fuel. So that one day nine you trump card, nine you contract document. So for can create another MOU for talk about government commitment, what's not the value of that? How do they go surpass, with this now just an understanding, how do they go surpass the actual award letter where the government don't give for appointment? So that's thing I would struggle with. It need no day for an MOU at all, because you get an even stronger contract arrangement. The other issue about, I think say the doctor very honestly don't articulate the fact that there may be delays in the process, but they do get their fuels. Then they get the fuel, which you need for do now for improve the process. We then say we will not respond right away. You know the right one thing, somebody respond right, you can acknowledge, okay? But you need for do your due diligence and find out what's in the options. We did in active discussion say how we go expedite this process for the doctor and field. At the same time, although SLMDA the focus on the doctor there, we now Cumbra ministry. As we get 500 doctor them we worry about, we get 800 other eligible people there inside the ministry where we still get for go to Ministry of Finance for ensure that they get their fuel issues. So if the SLMDA they want special consideration, again we're willing for get a special consideration for work with them, with labor, with finance, for expedite. In fact, one of the things will be say, if we not trust the system, we not actually put one person, one member of the SLMDA, let it sit down on the ministry for track waiting to go on. But now then say one come back, say, we'll not sit down, useful, because even if we track her, at the end of the day, now Ministry of Finance, they for say, yeah or nay. And Ministry of Finance, they not say, yeah, all the while, and just say, just subject to availability of funds. We know say then they strain. We'll try for address that strain and make sure so they can get them fuel in a timely manner. But you also let them recognize the situation. One last thing I want to say for you listener them. We respect the doctor them in this country. But this is now one of the few countries in the world where 100% of the doctor then training now taxpayers' money now in the cover. So it's easy for everyone to say, we can go Ghana, we can go Liberia, we can go other side and make more money. That's the right. But what's in that they say? Salon people then they pay for your training, then you take the skills that you get for go benefit other countries then for your own personal emolument. That's not fair, that's not right. So we know say conditions difficult now, but I get two picking them with the medical school. I know it's not the bill where then they get every year. No, then they overseas. But then they take loan, bank loan, for pay for the medical education. Because me not go able to afford them. I not get that kind of money. Yeah? But then they take bank loan. But Yasu Salon, because we feel say the doctor then so important to we, the government they pay for everything.
Okay.
And the government over the past 30 years, the government non-trained over 1,500 doctors. Yeah, with real money. Right now we have only about 500, a little over 500 of them. They are so the work. The rest of the one they all don't pay for their training and they elsewhere. So again, we try to make sure say, if we train the doctor, then we create environment conditions we will allow them for stay here, for retain them, for thrive. So my own primary reason for there as minister, now for look for their opportunity and now they look for.
The program will start for look at messages, and this one I go take from Valnora Edwin is a condition of service of doctors, nurses must be improved. They are vital to the growth and development of the country. The same apply for the condition of service of teachers. They should receive their fuel allowance. It is their right and they are entitled to it. Government need to prioritize spending, curbing corruption and wastage, minimize overseas travel.
This one on the story will run for Seka, the young man we then say allegedly died na the factory. Say the family need justice and the company should close while investigation is ongoing and the management should compensate the family.
And this other one say, Usman, please ask Dr. Dembi who that na the doctor them we forget fuel and waiting the law say because the doctor them no get motorcar, so then can want let government give them the money.
We look at more messages. Them he say Dr. Austin Dembi what una don't do, but the other well body workman them we not get them fuel or una do it stay themselves strike.
And this other one say, please ask Mr. Minister, ask this because them particular, okay. This one they ask about the grade, whose grade somebody go day for lay entitled to fuel.
The last one from me for now because of time. They say it's good that the Minister of Health realized the brain drain of doctors in the country, and what are they doing to ensure they solve such challenge?
This other one say, thank you, Radio Democracy, for the program this morning, but do ya doctor them una know the condition of the country, una safe calm down small.
Well, from the message here, we come to the studio guest them for respond to them. We come to the president for the Saloon Medical and Dental Association, Mr. Coker, Dr. Coker, for represents.
Yes, thank you. Let's just make a quick statement on the MOU, because it appears as if this MOU thing, it look like now we put MOU before, now we want MOU. Now we are being told that MOU no legally binding, MOU no make sense. But remind the Honorable Minister, so this MOU to we come up from. This MOU was prepared by Ministry of Health. It's their idea, it is their suggestion, and they prepare them in 2022. Also we come up from. So always we ask for this time around, now for review the MOU we then prepare. We don't come with anything new. So in fact there was a time where there was an argument between the one day they working at Ministry Day, whether an MOU will for make or an agreement will for make, among themselves and disagree, then they agree, say, okay, let us maintain the MOU. So we didn't come up with the idea of an MOU. It's for Ministry of Health. All we asked for was for the MOU to be reviewed so that the process of ensuring that doctors have their fuel will be improved. I don't know how to make it more simpler than that. That is what we asked for. Yeah. Now, I'm happy with that caller or text and talk about brain drain or, I want to thank government. Myself now one person will benefit from government scholarship, both undergrad and postgrad. Although the Honorable Minister say 100%, it's not 100%. So all man gets training entirely from government. But I agree that majority of medical training is being sponsored by government, of which we are all grateful. But I want to get it right, yeah. In as much as we are so thankful and we are obliged for serve the country, duty bound and out of patriotism. But again, now the responsibility of the government for train health workers, whether doctors, nurses, pharmacists, for look after them people. Any government where they campaign for kind of power, one point is where they take for campaign for. Now health delivery, healthcare is very, very vital. Okay. So every government get a responsibility for train people. You understand?
For work today?
Yes, we work, no strike. That's very clear. For train people. For look after the people that we don't take an oath for serve. But at the same time, we are humans. We say because you don't train person, so therefore the person will be well compensated. Human tendency is that if you don't train me, then you take care of me. The other side and they take care of me far much better. Also all man go, as is the case, but some man go. Okay. That is the reality. And I'll just say this, yeah. I lecture at the medical school. I marked a dissertation of a final year student recently. The doctor, the student, he writes a very nice dissertation where he writes about physician turnover at the country. And this is something we are the bring out, very, very important that the Honorable Minister Denaya, and if note that, yeah, the doctor interviewed Dr. Zem at the country for find out almost when they want for stay, almost when they want for go. In findings them very, very interesting. Of all doctors that we interview at the country, 30% of them say if they get away today, they want for left this country. 30%. That means 1/3 of the doctors them. And the reason they all advance for that are because they think say we have poor conditions of service. Now only 20% of the doctors they will respond say they're okay for stay now. 50% say they're not sure. Whether they want for dinner or for go. And this is something where I think the government for take very seriously.
The minister
for improve the condition of service if they want for retain doctors, and that's the reality.
The minister self don't realize that part day, and we round up the program now on this issue of the fuel. The ministry or the minister don't commit say they work with Minister of Finance for making I get this fuel. But one concern we don't always come up now, the issue of the doctors them always get this fuel. Is it that everyone get motorcar for they take this fuel, and what are the conditions for making them get this fuel?
The condition that for provide evidence on a vehicle, and I'm quite sure say all the one way they get the fuel can provide that evidence.
So all the doctors who are register get vehicle we register in their name.
Well, some Monday way I don't know what the apps clearly say. So Monday way done medical school, in parents and get a vehicle. But I cannot speak to that in detail. But what I know is that the documents and they can ask for the doctors and qualify for get the fuel, like in police and documents and that's what I can say. And the big concern we government been get, say some doctors and they will oversee, we not forget fuel, the gas and all. That was a very genuine concern. And for solve that problem, we come in and say, okay, as an association, we will take our responsibility. And we do them very well. This last list here, this last fuel we now we do the verification. And for all the doctors, then we put on a list of about 540. Now one green one, now one. They go for flag, we think say not been there around, or we verify, we realize say yes. It will begin work na corners, but then it will left early. Just one. Which means 99.999% the list we generate was accurate.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I want for as I say, yes, the strike not start today. We will go work.
Okay.
We will go work, and for the next 1 week, we will give government time. Not for giving fuel, I want to make it very clear, but for all the promises that they make yesterday in the meeting, let them put them on paper.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Kuka. Yes. Thank you very much, Dr. Kuka. We will continue to get from Muna sooner ultimatum. They will come to Dr. Austin. Then we get messages. Then we can respond to them quicker. So
just really quick one. First, the doctor them. We cherish your doctor them, but again, people them they always associate human resources by training. So if you don't train the doctor, you don't get doctor. And as I don't say, close to 60% of the people that they train, they go away. Yeah. So it's not surprising. But what should they try to do going forward? We they forecast the need for the country. Based on the need, we they make sure we get training. We they address the need. And after the training, we they look for distribution of the staff. And with the focus on retention of the staff. So all of this fuel issue now, a small component of the broad package around retention. So we get very, very thoughtful idea about this. But again, right now, somebody asked, who are eligible? Everybody in the government service with grade 9 and above eligible. So we get a large pool. Right now, if you look at all of the budget costs for fuel, now the Ministry of Health, they account for 67% of the total operational budget. So we're not wait for the other people then begin strike. We work with the Ministry of Finance for see how for best address that.
These are very difficult. These are the medical doctors, the ultimatum. So what about nurses and pharmacists? Then so where they within grade 9?
Now they talk. Even bigger number than which you would deal with right now. So again, I think they would work with the Ministry of Finance how for best address the Andy. But I think throughout all of this, we just get to be mindful, saying a very difficult financial situation with it.
Okay.
When a lawyer make them policy, so now being a completely different era. The fuel price being really rock bottom minimum. Yeah, we didn't see be happy. At the same time, also the first away nurse, then they graduate now RN, now certificate nurse then, yeah. Now then they graduate with bachelor's degrees, then they go with master's degrees, so then they come at a higher level. We get the biggest top-loaded technical staff in the country. And so we need for review, again, what's happening now, then get the service review where they go on now, where they look at improvement in services in general, where they look at that, and look at broader welfare within the context of a broader welfare in this fuel issue. But right now, as it is really difficult and untenable.
Thank you very much for joining us at the edition of the program, Dr. Austin Dembi, Minister for Health. We can join me for talk about the issue of the medical doctors, them fuel allowance.
One issue, yeah. I really empathize with the leadership, the executive of the SLMDA. Not so easy job than they do, but then they try their very, very best, because I think, say, in a lot of cases, you see, this is not a fuel issue, a welfare issue now in the driver, So no matter how the solution they come, then they go through a lot of pressure, and I think, say, most of what even they talk, so not to we they talk to a membership, and I think, say, now for support the SLNDA, let all support them, let them provide good quality service for the country.
Thank you very much, Dr. Austin Dembi, Minister for Health, for joining us at the edition of the program, and thank you to Dr. Frederick Coker, President, Saloon Medical and Dental Association, for joining us at the edition of the program.